Welcome to the Counsel Code, where we explore the mind-shaping modern legal functions. From legal ops to compliance and tech innovation, I'm your host, Charles 𝐀𝐟𝐿 from Volody, the AI-powered CLM platform helping in-house teams bring predictability, automation, and business alignment into their contracting workflows. Today, we're thrilled to welcome Nadia Louis-Hermez, Head of Legal Ops and Paralegal at Next Insurance, Incorporated. Nadia has built legal ops functions from the ground up and brings a unique blend of operational rigor and tech-first thinking to the legal organizations. Nadia, great to have you here.
Hi, Charles. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I am very excited to be here. I just have one tiny correction that became effective last Thursday. We're now known as ERGO Next. So it's because we recently merged with Munich Reinsurance. So we are known as ERGO Next.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So your career path from law firm work to legal ops management reflects the evolution of this function from tactical to strategic, and then applying the strategic thoughts to tactical execution. Can you tell us a bit about how your background shaped your perspective on legal ops and where you see the value of the legal ops role today?
Yes. I always say legal operations kind of found me. You know, it landed in my lap just out of the blue. I spent a good portion of a decade, maybe a little bit more than that, at fast-paced world of securities litigation and white-collar crime at Latham Watkins and Orrick, Harrington and Sutcliffe, some of the top AM law firms in the country. And then I moved in-house with my first in-house role at Carbon 3D. It was a 3D print company out of Redwood City, California. And it was the general counsel then, Meg Nibby, who recognized my knack for systems and my appreciation for legal technologies. And she's the one who actually encouraged me to leap into this kind of dedicated legal ops role. And I guess I can say that the transition just felt natural because the skills that I had built up at the law firm were easily transferable. You know, the organization, the discipline required for high-level litigation work were the exact skills needed to manage and run legal in-house teams and workflows. And so, you know, today I combine that big law rigor. It never leaves you, by the way. Once you start at big law, I joke that it's almost like PTSD. It never leaves you. Everything was due yesterday. So it kind of drove that mindset and help legal teams work smarter and more efficiently. My favorite phrase I always use is I always make sure the trains are running on time every day. And so my career has kind of come full circle from managing complex securities litigation and, you know, trial teams to building the legal ops function here at ERGO Next. And over the last 4 years, I just celebrated 4 years here. I've just been building out this nascent function into a central pillar of the company's strategy. You know, having first optimized our CLM tool, and now I've moved on to corporate governance. And the next phase in 2026 is creating that transition between Munich Reinsurance, which is the parent company, and Next Insurance.
Sounds like an outstanding journey, and it sounds like you're doing great in improving the legal ops. So legal ops has evolved fairly rapidly, especially over the last 5 years, moving from tactical process to strategic partnership. In 2025, we saw legal ops stepping into strategy conversations, managing costs, vendor relationships, customer relationships, data analytics, and driving measurable value against KPIs, rather than just supporting attorneys. This reflects a broader shift where legal ops professionals are becoming a backbone for legal innovation. At the same time, legal departments' attitude, if I can use that word, or embracement towards AI is shifting from cautious curiosity to cautious optimism, not replacing legal judgment, but augmenting capacity and insights. How do you see the current mood in legal ops around AI and legal tech? Is skepticism still common, or are teams embracing technology more confident?
This is probably a great question and something every single legal ops professional needs to be thinking about, like right now. If you're not thinking about the impact of AI to your day-to-day operation, you will miss out. I mean, that is just, I'm preaching right here, but AI is going to change our roles for the better. I think the skepticism that we used to see is being replaced by the realization that technology is no longer a nice to have. It's survival for scaling. And I'll give you a great example. Companies want to save money, right? That's their ultimate goal, is the bottom line. So CEOs are requiring more from their general counsel and from their legal teams, and by extension, legal operations, to deliver legal services to the organization and cut costs. So instead of exporting all this legal work to outside counsel, all this is being done more in-house. So it's a lot of busy work. Volume is greatly increasing. So what are you going to do? You know, if you have a small legal ops function, you can't just do it all on your own. You need to adapt technology. Technology, by extension, you need to adapt AI. So it's becoming part of a survival to create more scalable resources for the team. Especially for legal teams, and I'm, for ERGO Next, our legal team is very small. We're about 14 people. So you definitely need AI and technology to help you become more efficient. When I first started building out the legal ops function at ERGO Next 4 years ago, my focus was very tactical in the beginning, just to problem solve. I was brought on to implement the CLM tool. They had just purchased it, but it wasn't fully implemented throughout the entire organization. And I was in the weeds a lot. I would say like the first year, I was in the weeds, mitigating risk, ensuring vendor contracts were being processed efficiently and effectively. In addition, I was focused on getting our data and document management in order, because everything was just all over the place. Things were lost or on somebody's computer. So there was no centralized document management organization. But today, as we are scaling as a company, now we're part of this much larger organization, the legal team has to move to the center of the room. We are going to be that backbone to the organization as we scale. We aren't just supporting the attorneys anymore. That's what we used to do. There's a certain element of my day-to-day where I do play that support role. But more and more, I'm seeing my role as driving operational strategy. And I am playing that strategic partner role to my general counsel, because that's who I directly report to, who in turn reports to our CFO and then our CEO, and ensuring the integration with Munich Re is moving smoothly. We have new policies to implement. We have new rules. There are more compliance and risk issues that we need to resolve as a team. So all that is going to fall on legal operations to manage and create the right processes and systems in place.
Well stated, and we concur. AI and ML, to us, machine learning, are integral to successful operations and are part and parcel of the fabric of the most successful firms that are out there.
I agree. And Charles, if I may add, attorneys are always risk averse. And that's something I picked up on in my years at the law firm. They tend to not embrace technology as quickly, but I think we're seeing more of a cautious optimism. We're moving towards that as we progress and see that AI is a good tool to use. But I also think that AI is never going to replace human judgment. You will still need humans to verify the information. And I promise you, AI is not coming for our jobs. I think AI is just coming for all the busy work that we are, pummeled with on a day-to-day basis. It's about augmenting our capacity as we focus on the more high-level strategic work that will allow us to be that strategic partner to the organization and come up with more to serve the business in a more efficient manner.
We concur, and that was well stated. We agree that AI and ML and automated tools for legal functions will never replace humans. Mm-hmm. Basically, what they're doing is allowing the humans to do their jobs better and focus on what is strategic and important as opposed to the busy work. The ability to scan an entire portfolio of partnership agreements, master services agreements, carrier agreements, portfolios of insurance. That ability didn't exist 10 years ago. And the ability to do that in today's world and point out the areas that need to be looked at are, to us, integral to successful organizations. So, in continuation of that thought, one big theme is that legal ops isn't chasing every shiny tool. It's asking, how does this improve decision-making, outcomes, metrics that matter to the business? From faster contracts to automated intake and matter management, AI is reshaping tactical work into strategic advantage. We firmly believe that, but only when done with governance. In your experience, what separates successful AI adoption from AI for AI's sake in legal operations?
Yeah, that's a great question also. And, every day I see new products out there that are coming on the market. The market is just, at this point, is saturated. And you guys would know this. It's saturated with new AI tools for CLM implementation, for outside counsel spending, for legal front doors, document management, litigation. I mean, and actually, if you go to any legal ops conference, you see all the vendors that are setting up, touting the latest new tool. But a good legal ops will always function as a strategic practitioner and partner to the organization, and not always be chasing that shiny new tool. And this is how I would approach it, honestly. I do have like a step-by-step process that I analyze. Your job as a legal ops professional is always to be solving pain points and not following the hype. That is rule number one. You need to talk to all your internal clients and see what are the issues that are plaguing or are creating bottlenecks for their processes. And then you go out and seek the proper technology or the legal technology that might resolve that problem. If you find something that's already built in-house, I always recommend that as well, because that's also cost-saving measures. So always looking for the hype and that shiny new tool is never going to be successful. A, you're going to be spending all your time just chasing that. And B, it takes a lot of time and effort to implement a new tool. I mean, it's not an easy thing. People think, I'm just going to go buy this cool new CLM tool. Well, you better strap on your seatbelt, because you're looking at good 9 to 12 months of like complete integration, because you're turning the entire process on its head. It's not that easy, and you need somebody to manage it. Go ahead.
We concur. It is a large change management effort. It's not the
absolutely.
The technology, as you just stated, you don't drop it in and suddenly everything works. You have to go through the change management efforts, set up the right governance, set up the right controls, set up the right workflow, put the alerts, the notifications, the escalations, the feedback loops, put them all in place. We concur.
Yeah, and you need to have a strong relationship with your in-house engineering and IS teams, because guess what? They're the ones who are linking the systems together in the background. I'm not an engineer. I don't know how these systems are going to be talking to each other. So I make sure that I am in lockstep with my IS team and making sure that I have their buy-in. Additionally, our cybersecurity team plays a pivotal role as well, because I don't want to expose any risk that this tool might bring to the organization. So there's a lot of due diligence that is required when you do implement a technology tool. And it takes time. You have to be patient with yourself. Now here's the positive end is once you implement that tool and it takes off, then you start to see the fruits of your labor. And I'll give you a great example. When we were in the middle of our due diligence during this M&A deal with Munich Reinsurance, we had to send out third-party notifications for change of control for all our vendors. We already have an existing CLM tool, but I used AI and strong data hygiene to streamline that process across thousands of contracts. And I was able to quickly identify which vendors required those third-party notices. And then from there, what something would have taken months, I think, if you had done it manually, took us probably about 4 weeks to complete from end to end.
Perfect observation. So Nadia, to build on what you just stated, at Volody, we design our AI to be explainable and traceable. AI suggestions are always trained on the context and rationale, so legal teams can trust and validate the outcomes and better perform the day-to-day work that they need to. We concur with what you just said. Another area we're seeing legal ops is shifting towards metrics that speak in the language of the business. Cycle times, bottlenecks, risk indicators, which are owned by the businesses, not generic risk across, internet-based statistics, and spend forecasts, rather than purely legal outputs. How do you think about measuring what matters? How do you translate legal work into metrics that resonate with sales, finance, the broader executive team?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is, the philosophy of all good legal ops professionals. I talk to my GC once a week. She and I have ongoing one-on-ones where we're constantly checking in with each other. But one of our themes when we do talk is, what is legal bringing to the table? Because, we are that central nucleus for the organization, especially now that we had just finished the merger. We're going to continue to play that centralized backbone to the organization. And, how is that, as the backbone to the organization, how are we playing that strategic partner role? So here are some metrics that I always give to my GC kind of in different intervals throughout the year. Is contracts velocity. It's not just about how many contracts that we reviewed in a certain period of time, but more importantly, you want to dig deeper, is how long is it taking legal to turn around certain contracts? Where are the bottlenecks? And I'll give a great example. Earlier this year, our organization implemented a procurement tool in confluence with our CLM tool. So while something started through the procurement tool, it got, at some point after it managed through all the approvals of our internal stakeholders, it got pushed to our CLM tool. I ran some metrics in late July, kind of late summer, early fall. And I was astounded by how long it was taking legal to turn certain contracts around. I mean, almost 15 days when I ran those metrics. And I was like, no, this is not right. I mean, we were basically becoming the bottleneck that we were claiming that we shouldn't. So I took a look at every single one of those workflows. I'm like, how can I make this better? So I designed a system that moves existing vendor renewals faster. And lo and behold, within 6 weeks, I brought that metric down by half. So what would have taken us 15 days to process now was taking us almost 6.5 days to turn around. That was a huge jump in, I would say, 5 to 6 weeks, because I took those metrics, I looked at the workflows, and I analyzed, okay, where is the bottleneck happening? And I was able to move things faster. And in fact, I had one internal stakeholder send out a kudos to the organization for me, saying, I am noticing that all my vendor contracts are moving faster now that Nadia implemented her new process. But Why did Nadia implement her new process? Because Nadia used metrics. She used data in order to improve the process. So that's just an example of how AI and data go hand in hand. You need good data to feed the AI. There's no other way around it. That's just how, that's how the beast works, so to speak. Another example is legal spending. How are you enforcing your billing guidelines? There's AI that helps you, say, okay, well, this law firm is charging you XYZ. Well, then you go back and you renegotiate your engagement letter with this law firm. And then after a few months, you say, okay, this is how I'm saving. These are my ROIs on this particular spend. And then finally, what I would say is always use a legal front door. That is a new endeavor that I will hope to implement this year for my legal team, is having a legal front door, because that is that extra layer of creating metrics and data to show the business what legal is bringing to the table. This is how busy we've been. This is our turnaround. These are the types of requests that we've been fielding for the last 12 months. And this is how we are contributing to the organization. We're no longer a cost center. We are that strategic partner. So in summary, my philosophy is that data is the story, but the metrics, that's the hero. That is like that central character role. And that's what empowers the GC to go to your E-team or your executive team and say, this is what legal is contributing. This is what we're bringing to the table on a daily basis.
Well stated, and we concur that if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. An agreement on those KPIs and metrics is critical, so that expectations are set and you're targeting the right ones. So you touched on a few KPIs. To build on that, which KPIs have given you the most traction? Cycle time you mentioned. Are there any others that you could weigh in on that have given you the most traction with executive leadership?
So right now it's mainly cycle time. That's what we're measuring right now. And as I mentioned in the beginning, I would love to create that legal front door ticketing system. I think that will give me a little bit more insight into workflows and how much we are, fielding all the requests that are coming in to the legal team. Right now, we're not measuring any of that. So, requests are coming in via Slack, via email. Sometimes we get text messages. So what I would love to do is coalesce all that under one dashboard, like one filter, and it's taking all those requests. Now, in an ideal world, to use AI and automation, anything that's high volume, low touch, you can use like an AI agent that handles those requests. Anything that requires human judgment, you can create that ticket, and then it starts measuring all those slowly and creating these metrics and insights.
We concur, and one of the things we strive for with our customers is to create consolidated dashboards that are producing one version of the truth.
Yes.
So that universally the enterprise is seeing that version of the truth with metrics that matter, as opposed to a bunch of statistics that aren't relevant to a lot of people. So to build a little bit more on this section and the answers, Nadia, that you provided, at Volody we believe contract data is a bridge. It fosters shared understanding because it's not just legal language anymore. It becomes a business metric. And that kind of ties now into our next section, which is, in our earlier conversations, you've emphasized the importance of assessing tech readiness and building workflows based on organizational maturity. From your perspective, how should legal ops evaluate contract lifecycle management tools and other technology, especially where AI is involved, to ensure adoption and ROI, but equally as important, to not let it run rampant and change the behavior of humans, where they're now allowing AI to do things that it wouldn't necessarily be or supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Again, AI is the tool. It should not replace you. And if you're relying exclusively on AI to be the output of all your work and you're not verifying the information, then you're not doing a good job as a legal professional. This is where I put my paralegal hat on, is we have an obligation, an ethical rule to ensure that whatever document that we draft using AI is either being double checked and ensuring the information is accurate, or that you're working with a licensed attorney to ensure that this information is accurate, because that is your ethical obligation as a legal professional, to make sure this information that you're going to put out there or that you're going to give to your internal clients is accurate. So having said that, talk to the business and understand what those pain points are. If you are going to implement a CLM tool, yeah, that's fine, but just give yourself time and grace, because you're not going to start with AI right away. You need to implement the tool first. You need to establish the basic foundation of that CLM tool. You have to get into the weeds, build out the workflows that address the pain points for the business. And once you start implementing and taking off and launching that tool, then you can start slowly adapting AI functionalities in there. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes time. It takes training. Stay informed of the latest technologies out there. Attend legal webinars, attend legal workshops, and see what else is out there that can help you better improve your organization. You are that conduit between the outside legal ops world and your internal organization. And say, hey, I saw this thing. I think we might like it. Let's give it a go. Let's give it a demo and see what they can bring to the table, or how that might help us become more efficient to the business. I always create like a legal tech scorecard, where I'm asking myself questions and whether or not this is going to help the business and what the velocity is of that tool. So that will always help you become more of an effective planner and partner in the future. Prioritize your internal clients' needs, because when you're in-house legal, you have one client, and that's the company and all their employees. They come first. You're providing that legal services to your in-house internal clients. They come first. You can't be always chasing that shiny new tool that we talked about in the beginning. You have to address what those pain points are and figure out how to address those first before you go out and chase that legal tech tool. And finally, one thing before I say finally, I always try to recruit tech champions. When we had our CLM tool, I always had people that I knew would appreciate it and will take off with it. So in almost every single department that I worked with, there was one expert that would manage a lot of the workflows for me or help train all their peers. So those were my tech champions. A tech champion can also be somebody on your IS team or your cybersecurity team. And finally, another tech champion is your general counsel. Having that good relationship with your general counsel and adapting the same philosophies and better system processes and management is always key to your success. And finally, train. I cannot stress this enough. If you just implement a tool and let it go, you're not doing your job. You have to create test cases, user testing workshops, and even create wiki pages, like internal wiki pages where you're creating videos and training manuals for your users, or else the tool will fail.
So you've pretty much answered this follow-up, but maybe just in summary, how do you most effectively approach pilots and scaling? And you could have multiple pilots underway at any one time where you're touching on different areas of the organization, but summarize how you approach that.
Yeah, baby steps. Don't try to implement the big enchilada, I always say, all at once. So I'll give you, now that we're talking about CLM implementation, Start out with the low risk contracts, NDAs, for example. I don't know, waiver forms, something that is low risk, low touch, that won't require too much change management. And then once you see how it's adopted, again, using your tech champions, get feedback from your internal users, make improvements. And then while you set them off on implementing that particular workflow, start adapting kind of more difficult workflows, a subscription license, or I don't know, an MSA, something. But slowly do baby steps. I would say create like a chart with phases, say you're 30, 60, 90, even 120 days. That is your roadmap. This is how you're going to be implementing these things. But also be patient with yourself, because things will go wrong. So if you have to recalibrate and go back, it's okay. Give yourself time. And for my fellow legal ops professionals who are just by themselves or just running a team of one, you're going to run into those. So give yourself grace, give yourself time, because these things are not easy, as we discussed. It takes a lot.
We concur, and this is kind of a good transition to the next section, which is at Volody, we believe technology alone doesn't drive adoption. Culture does. Legal ops often leads change management and training in environments where tech adoption was previously low, in particular for the legal technology. How do you cultivate a culture that embraces change, whether it's AI, CLM, new process, new workflows? People generally are resistant to change. That's not a negative comment, but it's kind of like each of us doesn't necessarily want to do something different than what we already do. So how do you cultivate that culture?
Change management is never an easy thing. I think, we talked about that, but when you have good data and good data analytics and say, here's something that I think would help us be better. And this is how I think it will be better. You can say something along the lines of, I'll give it actually a really good example. Spend management tool. Say we're spending $2 million on outside counsel spending, for example, on an annual basis. But the reason why we're spending that much money is because we're not catching all the billing violations that are coming in on a monthly basis. So when you take all those billing violations and add them up and say, well, we could be spending actually 1.5. We're saving the organization $500,000. That's an example of using data and analytics and how a tool can create that ROI for you. Another example is, again, back to the CLM tool. Instead of manually reviewing contracts and saying it takes us a week to review a contract, well, we're going to use AI, and it's going to reduce our contract review time by half. And in fact, at ERGO Next, we were able to actually use those metrics to verify those data and analytics. We implemented an AI contract agent in early 2025, and I would say the review time for a lot of the contracts from our attorneys has been reduced by half, because all they have to do is upload the contract, use our playbook and our clauses that we prefer, and it will quickly create red lines and mark up certain or flag certain violations, and then the attorney will go in and either accept or decline those changes. But what would have taken an attorney to go line by line to review a huge contract has been halved.
We concur. There's many things I could build on what you just said, but extracting obligations, extracting terms and conditions, extracting renewal dates, and providing advance notification that contracts are coming up for renewal, providing those alerts, following with escalations when they're not acted on. These are things that we firmly believe Volody's user-centric design and guided workflows automate and reduce friction. making it easier for teams to embrace new tech without disruption, but equally as important, it demonstrates to them how much it improves their day-to-day activities.
Absolutely.
So you stated it very well. So quick rapid fire, short answers. One legal ops KPI you think should be mandatory?
Maintaining constant contracts insights dashboard and cycle times. As part of our CLM tool, I have the insights dashboard that's constantly on, and it's feeding me information. So whenever I have to go in and create reports and metrics, I just click on that particular dashboard and it gives me the information I want it. A couple tweaks here and there based on departments or practice areas, but essentially making sure that you have a consistent dashboard going that will make you work faster and more efficiently. Agreed.
Well stated. What's a contract trend that keeps you curious?
So this thing I've recently learned about, self-service automation, especially at the intake process. I've spoken to so many other legal ops colleagues in other companies, and one thing we all agree on is no two intake sheets are the same. If you have two people filling out the one intake sheet, they're going to be answering two different ways, like that particular intake sheet. So what happens is your data becomes sloppy. I would love to have something more automated where AI takes this information and concises it, so that way you're not having to do the cleanup work later on. I think I'm just curious about that. I know our current CLM is piloting some of those features right now. And I think that's a game changer, especially when you want to create good data hygiene in the end.
And we use at Volody some very robust intake sheets that do streamline that process and can generate pro forma contracts based on your legal clauses, your preferred legal terms as a starting point. So we firmly agree with what you just said. What's an AI use case you wish legal teams would adopt more?
Automation and triage. As I mentioned earlier, my goal for 2026 is to create that legal front door for my legal team. We're an insurance company, and insurance is a very highly regulated industry. I always say 50 states, 51 different rules. So we're constantly being pummeled by new laws and regulations. Right now, we have humans reviewing these new laws and regs as they come in from the different departments of insurance throughout the country. I would love to create some sort of automation and triage where AI goes through these new laws and regs as kind of that first line of defense, and then using human judgment to analyze whether or not that is correct. So that is I wish we can adopt that more, is that automation and triage functionality.
At Volody, we are embarking on missions to embed regulatory information into the tool so that it can identify across the breadth of contracts where you may now have compliance challenges, or where you may now need to review the types of contracts that should be reviewed based on changes to regulatory requirements. And there's far too many, and they're industry specific, but it's very important for us to now take a look at what those adherence requirements are and how they changed. And so we are embedding that in. What's a legal office hack you swear by?
Okay, so I think this is how it makes me work really fast, much faster. I would say work smarter, not harder. Create like a dynamic dashboard for your most active vendors. So in our CLM tool, what I did is I created different dashboards for all the most high threshold vendors. And so every time an internal stakeholder comes in and says, hey, I need to find this particular MSA or I am trying to locate how many contracts we have with this vendor. All I have to do is scroll down to that vendor's dashboard that I created and click on it and send them a screenshot of what I have. It's a dynamic dashboard, so our CLM tool is picking up based on the filters that I created. And just by taking a look to see, okay, what is active, what is inactive, what is coming up for renewal, what is evergreen, what is about to expire. So I have those dashboards already at my fingertip. So it just makes you work more efficiently.
You have excellent foresight. I can't tell you how many customers I've worked with that have similar questions. Who's our 20? Where are we exposed? So having that dashboard, we believe, is critical. So as we look ahead, legal ops is poised to become even more strategic. We firmly believe that. Blending AI optimization, predictive metrics, and executive alignment. What's your vision for legal ops 5 years from now? What capabilities should teams invest in today to stay ahead, whether it's data, AI governance, business alignment, something else? What do you see?
Yeah. So one thing I did not mention is that the function of legal operations has been around since the 80s. It's just recently, I would say in the last 10 years, that somebody decided to slap on a label. And it's a nice label if you ask me. But we've made huge strides in its functionality. We're no longer seen, well, I think there's still elements of it being seen as a cost center or more of a reactive, for legal services. But more and more, you're seeing legal operations become that strategic partner to your general counsel and to the business. So I would say in the next 5-10 years, legal operations is going to be the backbone for strategic partnership, for systems and processes, for legal technology implementation, and resolving pain points at the organizational level. They are driving strategy that allows the company to scale. I think it will continue to play that important role. Having that good relationship with your general counsel is going to be absolutely key. Legal ops will continue to be that bridge and ensuring that legal is no longer that black box. People are not going to be slacking you, say, hey, where's that contract? Well, if you create the right systems and processes, you create transparency to your internal users. And it's about transparency, strategy, and innovation. I think that's where our world is going, and AI is there at the forefront of it all.
We concur, and we do embrace the point of view that legal has a strategic seat at the table. They are a business partner that enables the business. They aren't the, I always say no organization, because that's somewhat of the reputation that legal has earned over the years, unnecessarily so. But it's been viewed as a roadblock as opposed to an enabler. And we firmly believe that, in particular in your sector, the ability to underwrite faster and with less risk is critical.
Absolutely.
It gives you a competitive advantage over whoever you compete with. And it does enable revenue. It does reduce risk. And we firmly believe that legal is a strategic part and parcel of the business, not an afterthought. They only get involved when there's disputes.
And it's changing, Charles. It's changing. It's no longer when you get served with a complaint, you go knocking on legal. No, legal is already there. We're at the forefront. As I mentioned, legal is not seen as a cost center, but I argue that legal is also a profit protector. Yes. When you bring legal to the table early on, you're mitigating future risk, and therefore you're protecting profits.
We concur on this, and we firmly believe being proactive as opposed to reactive when there's a problem is the right way to do business. And some of it's change management, getting legal involved early, and having them as a respected strategic partner at the table. So this has been fantastic. It's been very strategic and a very pragmatic conversation. We sincerely thank you for your insights and leadership. Obvious you have the experience and the passion to make change happen. So for the listeners of the Counsel Code, if you're looking to understand how AI-empowered CLM can deliver measurable business impact, head to Volody.com, where you find how Volody helps legal ops turns insights into outcomes with traceable AI, strategy-ready dashboards, and smart workflows. And thank you again, Nadia. We'll see you all the next time.
Thank you, Charles. I appreciate your time.